the camera shakes. The arena is already in chaos. Fans are screaming, the commentary team is yelling over each other, and the crowd can't believe what they're witnessing. Seth Rollins is lying face down in the middle of the ring, motionless. His breathing is shallow, his fingers twitching ever so slightly. Michael Cole's voice trembles. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what we just saw. Seth Rollins might be seriously injured. This is beyond wrestling now. Rewind 15 minutes earlier. The night had started normal. Seth Rollins walking into the ring with that same wild grin, the World Heavyweight Championship draped proudly over his shoulder. The fans singing his song, the energy electric. But what nobody knew was that the night was about to spiral into one of the darkest segments in Raw history. Rollins had just finished cutting a promo about his next opponent for Crown Jewel, a confident speech about fighting for respect and legacy, when the arena lights suddenly dimmed. Then boom! A monstrous silhouette appeared on the Titantron. Bronson Reed. Rollins, his voice thundered through the arena, low and intimidating. You talk about legacy, but men like me? We destroy legacies. The fans booed as Reed stepped out onto the stage, his eyes cold, his walk slow and deliberate. Seth laughed it off at first, typical Rollins confidence. He yelled, Bronson, big boy, if you want a shot, come take it. Reed smiled, cracked his neck, and started walking to the ring. The crowd grew louder, chanting burn it down. But there was tension in the air. Even Rollins could feel it. Something didn't feel right. As Reed climbed into the ring, Seth didn't back down. He got right in his face, yelling, You think you can end me? You're just another roadblock. That's when the crowd gasped. A sudden, deep bass hit the speakers. The arena lights flickered red. And the words appeared on the Titantron, The Beast is here. The crowd exploded. Brock Lesnar. The Beast incarnate stepped out, his face twisted with that sick, familiar grin. His eyes locked straight on Rollins. He wasn't there to wrestle. He was there to maim. Seth's smirk vanished instantly. Michael Cole screamed over commentary, Wait a minute. What the hell is Lesnar doing here? We haven't seen him since SummerSlam. Lesnar started marching to the ring, every step shaking the floor. Rollins backed up slightly, realizing the trap he was in. Bronson Reed turned his head just enough to smirk. This wasn't a coincidence. This was an ambush. Brock slid into the ring. The crowd roared with mixed cheers and boos. Seth tried to swing first right hand to Brock's face, but Brock barely flinched. He grabbed Rollins by the waist and threw him halfway across the ring with a German suplex so violent the mat nearly bounced. The fans gasped. Bronson Reed immediately followed up with a crushing body splash that flattened Rollins' chest. The referee called for help. This wasn't a match. The bell never rang. But Brock and Reed didn't care. They began a brutal 2-on-1 assault that blurred the line between scripted and savage. Rollins tried crawling to the ropes, another German suplex. His body twisted unnaturally mid-air. He hit the mat hard. Reed picked him up like a rag doll and slammed him again with a tsunami drop. Brock screamed, You wanted to be a fighting champion? Fight now. Rollins tried to pull himself up by the ropes, blood trickling from his lip, his vision hazy. He threw one desperate punch, but Lesnar caught his wrist mid-air and twisted it back, sending him crashing back to his knees. The Beast circled him like a predator, taunting him. You thought you were the man of Raw? You forgot who runs this place. Then came the sound that silenced the entire arena, the sound of steel scraping. Bronson pulled the steel steps into the ring. The fans chanted no, 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 but Brock nodded to him. Reed set the steps down in the center of the ring. Brock lifted Rollins by the waist again, F5 on the steel steps. The impact was horrifying. Rollins' body went limp. Michael Cole was shouting, Now, this is too much. Somebody stop this. We need medical assistance out here now. But Brock wasn't finished. He turned to the camera, eyes wide, screaming, This is what happens when you disrespect me. You call yourself the Vision? Well, now your vision's gone. He lifted Rollins' head by his hair, staring into his barely conscious eyes, and said coldly, You're done. He dropped him again. Reed stood over Seth's body, emotionless, the two giants staring down at their destruction. Paramedics rushed in, but Brock shoved one aside. He took one more look at Seth and snarled. Then, with terrifying calm, he whispered something no one could hear before shoving the stretcher away and walking up the ramp. The camera zoomed in on Seth, his fingers twitching but no movement from his legs. The commentary team went silent. Corey Graves whispered, I think Seth's hurt bad, man. This isn't good. The crowd that had been chanting moments ago was dead silent. Some were crying. The entire arena turned into an eerie hush as Seth Rollins was finally lifted onto the stretcher. Fans reached out toward him, singing softly, Whoa, 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 but it was shaky, broken, like they didn't believe their hero would get up again. Bronson Reed stood on the ramp, watching the stretcher being wheeled away, smirking just slightly. Then he turned to Brock, who still hadn't left. The two locked eyes, an unspoken alliance forged in chaos. As the camera panned backstage, you could see Triple H on the phone, yelling for more EMTs. Becky Lynch was seen rushing toward the medics, screaming, "That's my husband," as producers held her back. The night wasn't about storylines anymore. It felt real, too real. The crowd didn't boo, didn't cheer. They just watched in horror as the man who carried Raw on his back for years was taken away. The final shot of part 1 ends backstage, Rollins being loaded into an ambulance, Becky crying beside him, shouting his name as the doors close. Bronson and Brock are standing in the parking lot, watching as the sirens fade into the night. Reed finally breaks the silence and mutters, "He said he was unstoppable. Guess we stopped him." Lesnar gives a cold, satisfied laugh. He'll never forget tonight, if he ever walks again. The arena is quiet, the crowd still buzzing from the shocking events on Raw. Cameras pan to the backstage area where WWE officials are scrambling. Triple H is on the phone, pacing, while referees and producers discuss the chaos that just unfolded. Seth Rollins isn't in sight, only whispers of his condition circulating among wrestlers and fans. Michael Cole and Corey Graves try to make sense of it live. "I've never seen anything like this. Seth Rollins, he's gone for now, but WWE RAW will never be the same." Fans at home are tweeting and posting non-stop. Clips of Bronson Reed and Brock Lesnar standing ominously in the ring dominate social media. Memes, speculation, theories, the internet is ablaze. Rollins' absence is already a storyline. Backstage reactions, Becky Lynch storms the corridors, furious and panicked, demanding updates on Seth. She rallies the locker room, calling for unity. "We can't let them intimidate us. Seth didn't fight alone, and he's not going to stay down. Not if we have anything to say about it." Meanwhile, other top stars like Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Kevin Owens whisper among themselves. Some worry about the growing dominance of Lesnar and Reed. Others see an opportunity, a chance to challenge the power dynamic in WWE RAW. Alliances start forming quietly, tension thick in the air. Lesnar and Reed consolidating power the next week on Raw. Brock Lesnar and Bronson Reed make their first official segment together. They don't wrestle, they don't need to. They stand in the ring, speaking in calm, chilling tones. Lesnar grabs a mic. Seth Rollins thinks he's the heart of Raw. Thinks he's unstoppable. "Guess what? This is my era now. And anyone who doubts me will see what happens when power meets precision." Reed adds, "We didn't attack. We sent a message. And that message? Nobody is untouchable. Nobody is safe. Remember that." Fans boo, chant, and the commentary team calls it the most intimidating duo WWE has seen in years. The tension builds. The WWE Universe knows that Seth Rollins' return will be monumental. Seth Rollins' comeback tease in the following weeks. WWE airwaves and social media drop mysterious clips. Seth Rollins in a dark gym, training furiously, shadows of the old visionary evident in his moves. Commentary hints that Rollins is bouncing back stronger than ever, but no date is revealed. Becky Lynch cuts promos talking about Seth's unstoppable fire and promises the WWE Universe that the visionary will rise. The crowd chants along, "We want Seth." Vignettes air weekly, showing Rollins overcoming obstacles, punching bags, sprinting through city streets, shadowboxing Lesnar and Reed, all dramatized, no physical injury implied, building suspense for his eventual return. Management steps in. Triple H, worried about both fan reaction and roster morale, appears on Raw. He announces a special Survivor Series-style segment to restore order. "We're hosting a 6-man tag challenge next week. Lesnar and Reed versus a team chosen to protect the honor of Raw. And there may be a surprise for the WWE Universe." Fans explode at the hint. Everyone speculates, is Seth Rollins coming back? The crowd chants echo through the arena, "Yes, yes, yes." The road to revenge. Rollins' eventual reappearance is teased for weeks with sudden entrances during matches, shadowing Reed and Lesnar, interfering at critical moments without full exposure. Each interference escalates tension, a super kick to Reed after a match, distracting Lesnar, even just a hand grabbing the ropes during a promo to signal his imminent return. Commentary teams build the narrative. Rollins is not here to fight fair, he's here to remind the WWE Universe that the visionary never dies. Vignettes show Rollins training with past allies, strategizing, and planning his ultimate comeback for the next pay-per-view, hinting at a one-on-one showdown with Brock Lesnar and a personal rivalry with Bronson Reed. Climactic return set up. Finally, weeks later, Rollins' dramatic return is set at a major WWE event, Survivor Series or next Raw special. The crowd is on fire, fans chanting and holding signs. Lesnar and Reed enter the ring, boasting dominance. Suddenly, the lights go out. A spotlight hits the entrance ramp. Rollins is back. The camera captures the stunned reactions of both Lesnar and Reed. Commentary shouts, "He's back. Seth Rollins is back." The crowd roars as Rollins marches down the ramp, his presence alone electrifying the arena. The storyline tension reaches its peak: Rollins vs. Reed and Lesnar, revenge, redemption, and the promise of the Visionary reclaiming his throne. End of Part 2. The episode fades with Rollins standing in the ring, staring Brock Lesnar and Bronson Reed down, WWE Universe erupting, cameras capturing the tension and energy. A final close-up of Rollins' determined eyes sets the stage for the next chapter in the saga: revenge, redemption, and domination. The story ends with one line of narration for the audience.